Brazil, for a decade, has been riding a wave of growth, pulling tens of millions of people into the middle class and passing Britain to become the world's sixth largest economy. This emerging tropical powerhouse kept its streak by winning bids for the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Summer Olympics.
Rio de Janeiro.
But beneath the surface, signs of growing pains are evident even in some of the country's most beautiful and fabled destinations. A tropical forested island off the coast, a historic port poised to be a tourist mecca, and the poor, underserved hillside communities of Rio de Janeiro, one of the world's most iconic cities. As Brazil prepares for 3.6 million sports fans and tourists on the move for the World Cup this year, and millions more for the Summer Games, citizens, from artists to health officials to slum dwellers, are hoping for the best, but expressing strong doubts about the sustainability and fairness of the recent sports-focused spending spree. Rio is a city of contrasts, with impressive beaches lined with four-star hotels, clubs, and restaurants. Yet, some 3 million of its 12 million citizens are still living in favelas.
Favelas are traditionally translated to English as slums or shanty towns or squatter communities, but they've existed so long, and in fact the oldest is 117 years old. So they've actually evolved a lot past those initial conditions that people usually associate them with. So there are favelas today that have water, electricity, the houses are brick, concrete, reinforced steel. In fact, most favelas have those qualities, where there's strong networks and people have not quality but access to schools and healthcare. And so the level of development is somewhere between what you'd associate with a slum and what you'd associate with a formal urban community.
Those banking on the 2016 Olympics as a source of growth have a very different view.
Having the World Cup and the Olympics is sort of a mixed blessing, because both of these mega sports events, almost back to back, have created many challenges and opportunities, and many people are very hopeful about being prepared for the Olympics, but there are many hurdles that they have to overcome.
Now, with all eyes on Rio, billions of dollars are being invested.
In October 2009, Rio de Janeiro was elected the host city for 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games. And because of this decision, a window of opportunity has opened to Rio de Janeiro, an opportunity that actually has to do with our strategic vision. A strategic vision that says that along this decade, Rio de Janeiro is going to be recognized as the best city in Southern Hemisphere for three things: to live, work, and visit.
So we see that a lot of the interventions that are happening in the city are about kind of before and after. How can we show, with as few resources as possible, make a bang and make an impression and make it look like we're doing something really interesting and innovative and productive. A lot of the logic is good. We want interesting, innovative, productive. And we want all of those things. We want an interesting city, but the reality is that the projects are superficial, and we don't see in Rio, historically, but especially right now, investments in things that are profound, long-term, and that require maintenance, but that have huge impacts, like strong education, healthcare. Sanitation is big, so sewage. Rio has a major sewage problem, and it's not just in the favelas. It is in the formal city, where sewage goes out into the open ocean. In favelas, it goes into canals. It's all going into the environment untreated. And so to not invest in sewage, which has huge health benefits and development benefits, but then to invest in a cable car over the sewage is nonsensical. But when you take a photograph of the cable car and compare it with the expanse of favela that looked before like it was something you could never ever do anything about, then it's impactful, and it's actually very cost effective from a marketing perspective.
Cidade Olímpica is concerned that critics are mixing up World Cup controversy with the economic benefits that will come with the Olympics.
So what we intend is to wait until the World Cup is over, so that we don't mix up things and people don't put everything in the same pot. Everything has to be after the World Cup, so that people perceive the benefits. So now they see the pain, but now after the World Cup they're gonna start, oh yeah, we're gonna bring people inside the venues, for example. We're gonna bring people closer to the projects. They're gonna be able to experience the projects. And once they're there, we're gonna give them information, the right information, apart from the newspaper.
Eu tenho certeza, não falta dinheiro. O que tem faltado é seriedade de várias autoridades brasileiras que prometem uma coisa e acabam não fazendo aquilo que é prometido. Então, como cidadão, que é quem vai pagar a conta por essa grande festa internacional, seja a Copa do Mundo ou seja os Jogos Olímpicos, eu diariamente venho cobrando das autoridades brasileiras o que elas se comprometeram a fazer com o Comitê Olímpico Internacional e com a sociedade no Rio de Janeiro. Porque anos atrás nós tivemos os Jogos Pan-Americanos e nos prometeram uma série de coisas e essa série de coisas não aconteceram. Então, para o Rio de Janeiro, para a Baía de Guanabara, agora, os próximos 2 anos são fundamentais. Ou nós conseguimos reverter esse processo de degradação, ou a Baía de Guanabara estará morta. O manguezal, a recuperação da Lagoa Rodrigo de Freitas, na verdade, é uma indicação, é um exemplo na cidade do Rio de Janeiro que ambientes profundamente degradados, eles podem ser recuperados, desde que haja uma ação da sociedade, as associações de moradores, o Ministério Público, agindo sobre o governo para que ele faça o que ele é pago. Para que ele é pago?
Being in Paraty is, I believe it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Paraty welcomes people.
Paraty is a colonial Portuguese city built on the rush for gold, sugarcane, and coffee. This 17th century city is largely preserved and intact, but its sewage system is as well. The town was laid out by its founders so that twice daily tides flowed into the cobbled alleys and flushed human and animal waste out to sea.
When you come into Paraty and the tide is high, what you see is that some streets are flooded, and this is exactly the Portuguese did it on purpose, so that the moment that the tide would get lower, it would take to the ocean all the sewage that was produced in town. So this is still around. I mean, you come today in the 21st century and you see the same mechanism, the same system in place.
Isso que não tem saneamento. 6%, nós temos 6% de esgoto tratado no país. 6%. Né? Mais de 50% da população não tem drenagem. Paraty não tem drenagem. Paraty é tudo fossa. Não tem drenagem, não tem canos. Está entendendo? Nem drenagem nós temos. Então, que dirá tratamento de esgoto. Bom, em relação ao meio ambiente, tudo que nós podemos fazer é fazer educação ambiental. Fazer o quê? Não tem muita coisa que fazer.
Paraty ainda tem a infraestrutura de 20 anos atrás. o abastecimento de água, o hospital, talvez até mais antigo que isso, e tudo que está na cidade, energia elétrica, e está havendo um movimento grande agora no sentido de estruturar a cidade. E há um mês atrás houve a assinatura de uma parceria entre o governo do estado, o governo federal e o governo municipal e uma empresa que vão fazer saneamento da malha urbana aqui de Paraty. E em 2 anos nós vamos ter água potável tratada na torneira das casas. E em 4 anos nós vamos ter todos os esgotos coletado e tratado na cidade. E aí a gente espera ter os rios, as praias, tudo limpinho como era há 20, 30 anos atrás aqui em Paraty.
De licitação de uma empresa que vai fazer o saneamento básico da cidade. É um projeto realmente grande, né, que está por volta aí de 120 milhões de reais para sanear o município de Paraty. Até hoje não contou com isso e isso a gente teve sérios problemas, que os principais deles seriam diarreias constantes, né, crianças com febre, por doenças, né, hídricas, basicamente isso. Né? E as más condições de vida também, naturalmente, mas a gente tem na perspectiva futura de trabalhar a questão da educação e saúde. E aí, junto com o saneamento que agora está colocado, a gente prevê que temos dentro de aí, a médio prazo, você vai ter uma guinada para cima na qualidade da prestação de serviços de saúde da cidade.
In 1960, when a coastal road was built connecting Paraty to Rio and São Paulo, tourism flourished. Today, Paraty is known for its galleries, shops and restaurants, and is expecting over 200,000 tourists for the World Cup alone.
We will be closer to the 80% of occupation during this period. Let's say 30 or 40% more than normally. But it's a good number for a time that normally is low season.
And in tourism, we study the growth and decline model, and at a certain point you're saturated, and if you don't make solid plans to deal with infrastructure, it's going to have a negative impact over the future of tourism in these locales.
O que nós podíamos fazer é, vamos diminuir o número de turistas. Não é possível isso. A nossa região é cada dia mais visitada, cada dia mais visitada. A gente não sabe se isso é bom ou se é ruim. É bom porque são pessoas que estão vindo, né? É ruim porque está piorando o nosso meio ambiente.
E para a Olimpíada, vamos ver, a gente tem planos de controlar aí o fluxo turístico, porque senão a cidade não tem estrutura para receber muita gente de uma vez só.
One source of hope is money coming to coastal communities from fees on offshore oil development.
Ceder esse dinheiro para o município de Paraty, como outros municípios do Rio de Janeiro, o próprio Rio de Janeiro ensina.
Even a lush, largely protected island off the coast of Rio State is feeling the pressures. Since 1994, tourism has increased. Ilha Grande, now the 3rd most visited island in South America, exemplifies the promise and the problems that come with a tourist boom.
O turismo na América Latina, na América do Sul. Isso significa que há uma procura enorme para a Ilha Grande. É positivo quanto à parte econômica, às vezes preocupante quanto ao número de pessoas. Mas eu acredito que nós vamos conseguir conciliar tudo isso.
Ilha Grande, it's now the 3rd most visited island in the whole of South America, or Central South America. Ilha Grande is number 3. Firstly is Easter Island, is the 1st most visited island. Then there's an island off the coast of Bahia in northern Brazil, and then Ilha Grande is the 3rd most visited place. So we expect to have lots more visitors.
Tourism revenue in Brazil has tripled since 2000.
There is already an impact. I have to say that since August, September, October last year, I was astounded just to see how many people have made reservations for what was almost a year ahead. We're completely, June, we're almost fully booked. We have very, very few vacancies. July, we're probably about 60–70% booked, and then in August, not so much because it's trailing off, but already we've got reservations, and this is unusual.
On the island, fabled for its ocean beaches and quiet coastal town, The main threat is cruise ships.
Now, what do 8,000 people do when they've come across to the island and we don't have any tourist facilities, not even of the most basic kind? I've had to bring distressed people up here to my home so that they can use the bathroom facilities here, because there is nothing provided in the whole of Abrão. So this is in fact a lack of awareness by the federal government, the state government, the local government, but we're out of sight, out of mind, left to our own good luck, and whilst they reap considerable resources from the shipping companies, we're not provided with the infrastructure to receive these tourists. So it's very difficult here on the island, but until we can resolve infrastructure problems, I think that the boat should be stopped.
I think the cruise ships are good for the island, especially for those who live here. It's good for the marketing of the island, for example. We've got a lot of people who is going to be coming next year to stay in the island, so it's good for the marketing. And all these government investments and all those things that are happening right now, it's because of these people from the cruise ships.
A condição sanitária, a condição de esgotamento sanitário, hoje é mais precária que no passado, porque não tem manutenção. Mas está previsto projeto que deverá começar no próximo mês para se fazer tudo novo, e aí acredito que teremos uma boa infraestrutura na parte de saneamento básico.
Brazil has for generations been on a journey toward a brighter future.
The World Cup is more easy for Brazil. All the people like football, yes. If you have a good results with World Cup, probably you have, and the people realize that's a good thing for the city, yes. You have more support of this idea in Rio.
Deep poverty has given way to a growing middle class. The country's challenges with pollution and the poor echo the growing pains experienced in the United States decades ago. Until the 1980s, the Hudson River was an open sewer, and poor communities bore the brunt of impacts. Prosperity and environmental concern shifted the balance, and the same can happen in Brazil. But many citizens say that can only happen if Brazil finds a way to include all of its people in shaping the current burst of sports-fueled growth. And they say that's a very big if.
People now feel that the Olympics is not my Olympics.
Yeah, I'm very worried about the period after the Olympics because I think, yes, that there is this hope that we'll build this infrastructure and we'll build this image and this brand. But I think what's happening is because the underlying social issues that are so historic and chronic aren't being addressed, the anger about that is rising. We've got the protests over the last 9 months. We've got increased crime again. All of these are different indicators of a rampant kind of frustration, lack of hope, lack of opportunity. Inevitably, things are either going to get worse or there's going to have to be a major reform.
The question is, which will it be?